Laura Siegemund, ranked outside the top 100 at 104, lost in the first round of Bad Homburg, a grass court tournament prior to Wimbledon, in 2 easy sets to Victoria Azarenka. This is why I picked her to lose in the first round, but I was very wrong because Siegemund not only beat Stearns very easily, who I picked her to lose against, but she also took out Leylah Fernandez and Madison Keys without losing more than 5 games per set. In the fourth round today, she took out Sierra 6-3, 6-2. And Laura Siegemund is 37 years old. And she's going to jump from 104 in the world to 56 in the world. And that's if she loses to Sabalenka, who will be her next opponent in the quarterfinals. But you never know. This Wimbledon has been crazy, but I don't see how this is going to be possible for Laura, who is a very dangerous grass court player. And she can make life very difficult for a lot of players because of her unorthodox playing style. But I think Sabalenka's power and her mental resilience, I think she's out for revenge for losing that Roland Garros final. And I picked her to win the tournament prior to the tournament starting. But in yesterday's video, I talked about my gut feeling that Iga is going to do well at this year's Wimbledon. So if that final happens, Sabalenka against Swiatek, I think that's going to be a fun one to watch because those two have had some really tough battles in the past. So we shall see. When I think of the perfect WTA technique, I've always believed that Petra Kvitova has the best looking strokes, who retired at Wimbledon this year, losing to Emma Navarro in the first round. But another player with incredibly clean looking strokes is Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. She's had such a tough match today against Kartal at 4-all in the first set. Pavlyuchenkova serving. She had game points, and Kartal hit a half-court ball about this long. We can all see it in the replay. Now, unfortunately, the all-electronic line calling this year at Wimbledon completely shut off, and it wasn't functioning, and they had to replay the point. Now, Pavlyuchenkova ended up losing this game, but she stayed so calm and ended up winning that first set 7-6 in a tiebreak and won the second set. And now, as a veteran player at the age of 34, she finds herself in another quarterfinal. The last time she was in a quarterfinals of Wimbledon, she played Serena Williams. But back to the electronic line calling system, I don't understand why the chair umpire doesn't have the power to call that ball when the thing was off. What's his purpose of sitting on the chair if he doesn't have the power to call a ball on a tennis court? Look, personally, I like technology in tennis, but I also like tradition, and line judges are just part of the tennis match to me, and they shouldn't be removed. Of course, there's human error, no doubt about it, but this year at the tournament in Madrid, we saw that there's also error in the machines. Okay, nobody's perfect, and I think a combination of the two is perfect, but to completely remove it is just weird to me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. But back to veteran female players, I'm so happy to see these veteran players, whether it's male or female, do well. This is so inspiring. Because number one, it's so difficult to stay at the top of the game for so long that you can't even play on tour in your mid-30s, but also to still have the ability to beat up on these top players who are a lot younger. That to me is incredibly inspirational. Taylor Fritz got a retirement from an injured Thompson, up 6-1, 3-0, and I'm sure Taylor is going to appreciate not having to be on the court for 5 hours because he has had some monster matches. Now, next up, he plays Khachanov, who took out Maishak, who made a great run into the fourth round. But Khachanov is one of the most consistent and toughest players on tour. This will be a huge test for Taylor. As Taylor said in a post-match on-court interview, both of these guys have a similar game style, but I do give the advantage to Fritz on the serve. And if Taylor can grit out points from the baseline, especially if these happen to be clutch points, he's going to end up beating Khachanov. I love watching Norrie play. I generally like watching lefties play a little bit more than righties. I really don't know why. That's maybe one of the reasons why I love watching Rafa so much, and even someone like Jimmy Connors or John McEnroe. But what I love about the Norrie serve is when he slides it out wide. And something that Ben Shelton should try is change his positioning when he's serving to the ad side, because the more the lefty goes towards the doubles alley, the sharper that angle is going to be that he can create with the serve. And Norrie had a lot of success with that serve today. It has to be a slice, and once that return comes back, the next ball is being sent into the opposite corner and the opponent is on the run. So this play worked phenomenally well for Norrie today against Jarry. In 5 sets, Norrie did not drop serve a single time. And even when he had some tough situations in his service games, break points down, he delivered some clutch serving. I've talked about Norrie's backhand a lot in my videos, and even though it looks weird, I think it suits the grass courts perfectly, and he can keep that ball so low, which makes it very difficult to handle for his opponents. The forehand, on the other hand, is so safe, so secure. He puts so much margin on that ball. He barely misses forehands. So this guy is a top player. It's no surprise that he was once in the semifinals of Wimbledon, that he won Indian Wells, that he was in the top 10. It's good to see him going back towards the top of the rankings. Now, will he have a chance against Alcaraz? I doubt it, even though he could make things difficult for Carlos. The thing with Carlos that makes him so tough to play is not only his incredible repertoire of strokes, but it's also his mental toughness. He is very clutch. But there's another thing that I want to talk about regarding Carlos today that I haven't talked about before. Earlier this week, I talked about Jensen Brooksby and the fact that he's a high energy player, that he pumps himself up. And I'm sure you guys have faced opponents who pump themselves up. And those type of opponents are very difficult to play. It's almost as if their positive energy overwhelms you. And I think on top of everything positive you can say about Carlos, the fact that he is a high energy player, that he does pump himself up, I think it makes him very difficult to handle. Now, another quality that Carlos possesses is to have the belief that he can win the match when it looks like that he can't. He's proven that in the final against Sinner at Roland Garros, where he was down 3 consecutive match points, and Ferrero talked about Carlos's body language at that point in the match, and Ferrero said that Carlos still had the belief even at that desperate point in the match. And in today's 4th round match against Rublev, it didn't look good for Alcaraz early on because Rublev was on absolute fire. Rublev could have won this set a lot easier because he was up 4-2 serving and he missed 2 very easy volleys, and normally this would have been a negative explosion from Rublev, but he remained calm. This is a new Rublev. As I said a couple days ago, check out his documentary on the ATP Tour YouTube channel. It's fascinating. Rublev is working a lot to become a better tennis player, and for him this involves fixing his mental game and fixing his overall approach to tennis. So Rublev remained calm after missing these very easy volleys that put Carlos back into this first set. And now Carlos was pumping himself up. He was playing well. It looked like he was going to take this set from Rublev. And he was up a mini break in the tie break, but Rublev again remained calm and actually stole this set from Carlos. Down 3-5, he made it to 5-5, and up 6-5, Rublev had a set point, and he hit one of the best open stance two-handed backhands down the line that I've ever seen from Rublev, and he ended up taking that first set from Carlos 7-6. Now here's where the belief kicks in for Carlos. When you just look at him without knowing what the score is, you would never know that Carlos is down in a match, because when you look at him, you can see that he still believes that he can win the match, and he, with his high energy style, pumps himself up, and in the course of a best of 5 match, he's able to find his best tennis. So I think that it's a way bigger challenge to beat Carlos Alcaraz in a best of 5 compared to a best of 3, because if Carlos Alcaraz finds his top level, there's pretty much nothing that anybody on planet Earth can do, because after Alcaraz won that second set, we're tied 3-all in the third. Go on the ESPN app and just replay that single game, and you're going to see some of the best forehands that I've ever seen from Carlos Alcaraz. You know, when he starts adding a little bit of pace to the forehand and that loud grunt comes out, that's what he was doing in that game, whether it was on the return of serve or out of the rally or on the run. He was absolutely smothering that forehand and hitting it over 100 miles an hour. He got the break, got the third set, and won this match comfortably in 4 sets.